What's up, guys? Welcome to the latest edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday, and I know what you're thinking. This doesn't look like the normal format, right? There's a Giants jersey in the back. But I told you guys, I would be out of town, and I'm going to be out of town for a couple weeks. We're down in Tampa spending time with my wife's father and the family, and we're having a good time, man. We're down in Tampa, there's a pool in the back, so we're living the life, right? I'm working during the day, and then we're having a vacation in the evening, living the life. So I told you guys, man, you can expect a lot of these pre-recorded videos while I'm down. I should be back home at the end of the month, and then we'll get back to the regularly scheduled program. But in the meantime, you're going to get these pre-recorded videos, and this is going to be the backdrop that you see. Again, he's diehard Giants fan. He's from the Bronx. That's where my wife's family is from on her father's side. So that's what you're going to get. All New York stuff. So you see, like I said, Giants jersey back there. He's got baseball stuff in here. He's a huge Yankee fan, yada, yada, yada. But anyway, guys, let's get into the video. And what I will do, even though you're seeing this pre-recorded, I will do this as a premiere. So there will be a segment. Some of you guys probably already see it, but there will be a segment where the live stream is still rolling. So you guys can say hello to each other, comment, chat, donate, whatever you want to do as if it was a live video, but it is pre-recorded. So really, all I got to talk about today, a couple things. We're going to talk about basically our quarterbacks, but I really want to hone in on Ben Roethlisberger. Just some brief comments there, as well as we'll talk a little bit about Dwayne Haskins. And, at least at this point when I'm recording this video, nothing else has really transpired. So again, I don't have a lot to get into today. Now, again, because I am out of town, like I said, I'm doing this during the day. Taking a quick break from work. My wife is here, father-in-law's here, and all of that. You may hear some background noise, but it is what it is, guys. It's not that important, right? Just want to keep you informed. So the first thing I want to talk about, man, Dwayne Haskins. I did see a report that he proposed to who would now be his fiance. And the reason why I wanted to talk about that is not so much getting into his personal business, but I kind of think it shows a little level of maturity. I think it shows a level of maturity on his part. Anytime a man takes a woman's hand in marriage, at a young age, he's relatively young, early 20s, I believe. I think that shows a sign of maturity. And I don't want to, I'm not saying anything about my single fellas out there. I didn't marry super early. You know what I mean? So I understand that. But again, I think for someone coming off of the career that he's had so far and coming off of everything that he had to, deal with what transpired in Washington, him being a local, as far as the DMV area, and, a kind of a resurgence here with Pittsburgh getting a second chance. And again, that icing on the cake to me is now, he seems to be maturing even more by establishing going into a marital relationship. And who knows, he could be engaged for 6 years. I don't know. It's not really what I'm going at. But like I said, I think just seeing that, it just makes me feel like it's adding another level to his maturity and maturation, if you will. So let's see if he is a different Dwayne Haskins, different mindset. We'll see. We can only hope for the best. Like I've always said, nobody is saying that Dwayne Haskins will be the future. No one is saying that he will be the next franchise quarterback. Who knows? But what if he is? What if he does have that opportunity? Then what? Then what is the question? So that's kind of how I look at that. He's on the squad. You might as well root for him while he's on the squad, and you never know. Maybe with Matt Canada and what we may be expecting to get from Matt Canada's offense could be, a piece that we'll use going forward. Remember what I said, guys, about background noise. Here to my right, there's someone cutting grass or what have you. Okay. We're going to have to deal with this, man, for the next couple of weeks. But I appreciate you guys in advance because I know you all will deal with it with me. Okay, so let's move on to the topic at hand. And actually, I'm going to do this in real time. I'm pulling up my phone here to see if there's, anything else worth noting outside of Ben Roethlisberger. Let's see what we got here, guys. Like I said, man, this is a lull period. We all understand it's a low period right now in terms of information. Once we get into training camp, I think that's when we really will get underway and things will get kicking again. And speaking of that, hold on. There was a transaction I saw. Let me go to Steelers.com. Yeah, let's talk about that. I didn't even mean to do that, but let's talk about the Steelers signing kicker Sam Sloman to a 1-year contract. And they waived DeMarcus Christmas, who I believe is a D tackle. Now, I don't know anything about Sam Sloman, but I think it's interesting that they signed a kicker. Why is that interesting? Some people may say. Okay, well, some of you guys might say if this was a couple years ago, makes sense because Boswell had a downslide. However, Boswell has been back to being Bos. He had a good season last year from what I recall and had a fairly good season the year before that. No real reason where he would be in danger, right? However, let's not forget that Boswell is one of the people that we're expecting to possibly get extended or restructure, rather. Not extended, or restructure. He's one of the names that keeps coming up. Shout outs again to Steelers Depot. I know Dave Bryan has continued to say that he's a restructure candidate. So is there anything to this? Is it merely just competition for Chris Boswell? Or is there something to it? If you find another kicker, obviously you would have signed him to a 1-year deal, which is relatively cheap, I'm sure. I don't know the numbers, but I'm just guessing. Could this possibly have anything to do with the fact that you need, or you may be looking to relieve some cap space? Now, I don't know. Again, I'm not the cap guy. I don't know if there's a penalty involved if they were to, get rid of Boswell. I don't know, is he at the point where it's going to be a huge penalty if you cut him? I don't know. But it is interesting. I'm going to keep my eye on that, and I'm going to see if I can find some information on that in terms of, what would happen if they were to cut him. Does it relieve cap, or is there a dead money penalty or what have you? But I'm very curious to know why a kicker has been signed. Is there something to it? Kind of like with us signing Trey Turner before we knew that there was this situation with DeCastro. Is there something going on with Boswell? Just something to keep your eyes on. So let's pay attention to that. And I meant to talk about that in last week's show, but something to keep an eye on. Let me see. Is there anything else, man, before we get into Ben Roethlisberger? And like I said, I'm going to be relatively quick, guys. I'm sure I'll sum up this video. Should wrap up in about 5 minutes here. But I feel like there's something I was missing. Don't think so. Did see that Anthony Chickalo has announced his retirement at the age of 28. That's interesting. Maybe just feels like, it is not worth the wear and tear when you're not really going to be a leading guy. Who knows? I think that's about it. I don't think I have anything else. So let's get to Ben Roethlisberger, man. I'm going to be, relatively brief with it, but what I wanted to talk about is just Ben Roethlisberger in general. It's going to be interesting to really see what he's going to mean for the success of this team or lack thereof. There's people in the media saying that, he's going to be replaced by midseason. I mean, it's all kinds of slander towards him. There's some saying that he's going to have a resurgence. I read earlier that apparently he's taking his diet seriously. They compared it to the Tom Brady diet, said he's, dieting even more than Tom. The playoff loss didn't sit well with him. And it's always interesting how they use those buzzwords, because I don't care whether you diet or not. The loss shouldn't have sat well with you either way. So it's always interesting to hear that type of dynamic, or again, those buzzwords that they use where, he wasn't happy. And of course he wasn't. But I am curious to see what Ben Roethlisberger, what effect he will have on this year's team, because there's just so much that we don't know. I wanted to really briefly talk about, man, and great work again by the Steelers Depot guys. Alex Kazor pointed out something which I believe surfaced on TikTok first. And, from what I'm hearing, it's an old story. But apparently Ben Roethlisberger is kind of tipping what the play is going to be. Apparently, when his back foot is up, it's a pass, and when his foot is down, it's a run. And there's video evidence of it. So even with that side of things, I kind of feel like, let's say that's the truth, right? Let's say that is a telltale sign and defenses have been able to hone in on it, particularly last season, right? Because it could have been very easy to do that last season with the quick pass game, number one, and also knowing that we weren't running the football. Maybe they could have used that telltale sign against us even more. But it's going to be interesting to see if that is something that he does with the implementation of Matt Canada's offense, because even if it's not going to be so much different, they're already talking about different types of formations, taking advantage of matchups. So it would be interesting if this is a thing with Ben. Is that something that he needs to correct so teams are not able to kind of tell, oh, they're passing? You know what I mean? So that's something to keep an eye on. But again, I'm just wondering, man, and I can't wait till we start finding out a little more about what this team's offense is going to be. And then maybe we can say what Ben Roethlisberger will add or not add to the mix. Because again, we all feel like we want this to be a more run game based Pittsburgh Steelers. And if that's the case, then Ben Roethlisberger probably won't have that much of a negative effect, because if we're running the football more and we become more of a running team again, and Ben is just able to pick his spots, and we know he can do that, then great season. But what if we turn into a team where the offensive line isn't getting it done in the run game, and we got to throw the ball 50 times, so 40 plus times a game, which we saw way too often last year? So it's a lot to talk about there, man. And like I said, since there wasn't a whole lot to get into today, I figured I would just put this topic out there for you guys, and definitely leave your thoughts, leave your comments. Let's have some discussion, and I will try to answer as many comments as I can. I wanted this to be interactive, kind of leave you with something that we can all, comment on, since the show obviously isn't being ran the way the show normally is. So that's the question. How much effect will Ben Roethlisberger have on the 2021 Pittsburgh Steelers' success or failure? I really want to hear that in the comments. So definitely get active in the comments, man. Give me your real thoughts and try to give me some meat on the bone. Don't be so surface and just say, oh, he sucks. Oh, he's old. Oh, he's fat. Or, oh, he's great. He's a Hall of Famer. No, let's have some discussion. Let's have some discussion, man. And like I said, I will interact in the comments, and hopefully while this chat is going here, even in the premiere, it's alive, and maybe some of you have already commented there. But let's make a discussion out of it. And that'll kind of keep us all engaged, since this was a pre-recorded situation. But all right, man, I think that's all I got. Again, it's just a quick check-in with you guys, man, to at least continue some Terrible Towel Tuesday content. And I think this will be the best option, since I'm visiting family. I don't want to pull myself away from them in the evening, because even like tonight, we got, one of my wife's other sisters coming over, and, some friends are coming over. We're doing Taco Tuesday, so I didn't want to, as much as I love you guys as my Steeler family, I just didn't want to be away, at prime time in the evening for an hour and a half. It's just, I want to be a little more respectful to them as a house guest. You know what I mean? So expect this to happen probably next week, and more than likely the week after that. And then the first week in August, we'll be back in action where we're live and kicking. And by that time, we have some training camp stuff to really get into. And I look forward to taking the phone calls once again. But outside of that, man, if you haven't, make sure, if you like the content, like the content. And if you like the content, subscribe to the channel. And if you're subscribed, cut on your notifications. Only makes sense, right? But outside of that, man, I do appreciate you guys tuning in for the pre-recorded show. We'll be back to you as soon as I can. But until then, everyone stay safe. God bless. And of course, thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.